Hello everyone and welcome to Mason Aaron Racing videos on Facebook and YouTube. Have a fun interview in store for you all today. I want to thank the sponsor Cramlick DD Meats out of Medina, North Dakota. They specialize in meat and sausage processing, but if you stop on in their business over in Medina, you're located just between Bismarck and Jamestown on I-94, just a mile into town. They have a full-on floral shop, bakery, grocery store, convenience items, whatever you may need food-wise, they have it there for you. I'd encourage you to follow them on Facebook as they have a lot of specials going on throughout the year, and especially with the summer coming up, they'll be sure to have even more specials, especially as the season and the weather gets more consistent, so you can grow your flowers in your garden or whatever it may be that you may be looking for. Stop on in, check out all they have to offer. I want to thank Joe, Melinda, and the whole crew. They've been supporting me for the last couple of seasons. You can also give them a call at 701-486-3353 if you have any questions for any services that they provide. And they're also hiring, so if you need some summer work, that may be a great place for you to contact. And so thank you to Cramlick DD Meats for supporting these interviews. Well, hello race fans and everyone watching out there in Facebook or YouTube, wherever you may be consuming this content. We're back with another interview. It's been a few weeks since we've done the last one, and we're not going far down the road from where I'm at. We're heading over to Detroit Lakes to the number 72 of Tye Wilke. He races the IMCA race sprint car. Tye, how are you doing this evening?
Oh, awesome. I'm doing really good.
Yeah, now I have to clarify. Do you still live in Detroit Lakes, or are you kind of in the Fargo area?
I'm in Detroit Lakes. I still currently live there, and then I travel to Vegas to my girlfriend's. That's where I'm currently at right now. So it's about a 45-minute drive from my place to her house. So yeah.
Okay, nice, nice. Yeah, I haven't ventured out to Detroit Lakes in a little bit, and Vegas. I always hear a lot of things about Vegas, but I feel like is it just like a lake community or what? What's all over there?
It's a little town, I think a population of like 400, 500, somewhere around there. And they have like a little bar and it's like a little town, like not really big. It's just kind of on the suburbs of Detroit Lakes and it's pretty in between Pelican and Perham. So right in the middle. So yeah.
Nice. Well, you get a little bit of kind of like a little quieter setting then, so that's got to be good some days.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's quiet. You don't really have traffic, so it's kind of nice.
Yeah, and before we get to the racing stuff and get to know you a little bit, what do you kind of do nowadays? Are you still in school, or what do you do for a job?
I'm out of school. We just got a car wash, so I run a car wash, and then whenever my parents need me at the Detroit Lakes Disposal or Anderson Septic, I go over there and help out with that. So now I've been delivering porta pots, so I've been delivering them, cleaning those out, and then if I need to be on the back of a garbage truck on Wednesdays for recycling, I'll do that too. So there's all sorts of things I do here, and it's kind of nice. My parents are my bosses, so I can get off for racing and go race when I want to. So yeah, it's I've been really busy within the last this off season, I should say. I've been really busy. So yeah.
Wow, yeah, yeah. It sounds like you have plenty to keep yourself occupied, which is good. For someone around your age, it's good that you're busy and not getting into too much trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's we've been really busy. Car wash has been doing awesome. I mean, it's our first year, so we didn't really know what we were expecting going into it. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, and so we're recording this at the kind of at the almost the midpoint of April. Has the race cars are they all getting put together? Or they've kind of been neglected so far this spring.
We're getting two sprint cars ready, both 305s obviously. So we're doing something new this year. We're doing a different look for sprint cars. I had sent you the picture of that, so I'm think it's gonna turn out good. And then I've been actually racing here this off season a few times. I was at the Chili Bowl. That went really good. And then I went back down to Tulsa in March, in the middle of Marchish, and went down for a 3-day turnpike challenge with the midget again. So I've been doing a little bit of racing here, but not a lot.
Well, it's good to have that itch and to kind of keep things like familiar as far as like racing goes and racing around other competitors, especially because the winters, of course, around here get so long. It's like it's easy to get cooped up and almost forget how to race a car again.
Yeah, exactly. It gets yeah from probably November to April. So I mean, we just got a huge storm, so it kind of delayed everything. I'm sure there's tracks out there that wanted to open up too and stuff. So it's a bummer. We get after everything goes away, now we get another snowstorm. So, yeah, they got it made down south. They could race all year round, and they don't really get any snow. So it's kind of nice traveling. But I like the local stuff too, and kind of support local tracks too as well.
I'm kind of similar. When it gets to, well, I part of it is because I go crazy. I go like 80 plus races a year. By the time October rolls around, I'm like, I'm ready for a break.
Yeah, it gets tiring. Last year, I think in 2 days out of the 5 days I was racing, I put on 2,000 miles. So it got to be a long time. I went to Menominee, Wisconsin. I raced there 4 or 5 times, and with the midget, and then Huset's. That's another 4 hours there. So I was racing Huset's weekly every Sunday, and yeah, some nights beginning of Huset's last year, I blew up engine, so we drove all the way down there and the day went out for hot laps and blew up the engine and we had to drive back and then I rolled in the middle of the A main last year so it was going pretty good but yeah I mean you get those times where you get those the bad luck comes to you and yeah it puts a toll on you driving 4 hours and getting a DNF and turning around and coming back so yeah.
Oh man, there's a lot of long days in racing, but it pays off when you out dump at victory lane. That's for sure.
Exactly yeah. Um, yeah, it goes pretty good. It kind of does pay off if you do park it, but traveling at higher competition, I mean, I only got one win at Huset's, which is normal. Usually, a lot of people only get one win, and then you're not really seen back in victory lane twice. And a track like that with all those competitors, it's kind of nice and tough. But yeah, I don't know. It's racing, I guess. You get to drive all over, so yeah.
Well, and before we get back into some of the stuff you've done this last year, because actually that you brought up just a good point with racing down at Huset's. How many years have you been behind the wheel of a race car, and what all have you raced up to this point?
I started racing since I was 6 years old. I got into a go-kart right next to the Red River Valley Speedway, and Nick Skolicki and all those guys. They had a track there, so I jumped into a go-kart and I did that for 6 years. Turned 12, got a Legend. Did that. I'm still racing the Legend. It's a fun class. I love the Legend, and it's probably one of the harder things I've drove other than the midget, obviously. So they're fun to drive. I love the class. It's a great time. I love the thing. It's really fun. But yeah, I've been doing that for this is my eighth, maybe ninth or 10th year, I think, in a Legend. And then now I think in 2021 is when the sprint car came to Fargo. So I think that's when I jumped into that. So about 5 years of racing the sprint car, six.
Okay. Yeah, so that's quite so it's interesting transition. So like go karts to legends, that's pretty common nowadays around here, especially in the Fargo area. Going from a legend to like a 305 or just any sort of sprint car in general, that's got to be quite a transition. So what kind of played into transitioning into that class or adding on to that?
It was there was a lot. I mean, right away it was kind of scary. Like I went out for hot laps and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to drive it, and I just stuck to my gut and I was like, all right, I need to put this thing in gear because slow going around the bottom ain't gonna do it. So I gassed it up a little bit in the corners just to get the feel of the car, see what it was gonna do, and then my instinct was just to hold it wide open and learn from that, and that's what I did. And then that was the best advice I stuck up to myself is to just do what the car is gonna do. If I spin out, I spin out. It's test and tune. So I just held it wide open, and the car, it's crazy how well that thing can stick and go around the track going wide open. So going from a legend to a sprint car wasn't really bad, honestly. I had my buddy Ryan Braseth. He got into it and he loved it. I've never seen someone get out of a sprint car with a smile on their face as big as he did. So it was kind of cool. But I mean, honestly, it wasn't it wasn't that bad. The cars are pretty easy to drive. So yeah.
Gotcha. Well, and I know you like Evan Hendrickson. He just jumped behind a 305, I believe, this last year, and he seemed to pick it up pretty quick. So that's encouraging for guys that want to race a sprint car at some point in their career. That's a good stepping stone to jump into a 305.
It is, and it's not like a 410. You got 900 horsepower underneath a lightweight car. It's a 305, so it's kind of toned down from 900 horsepower. So, yeah, it's kind of if you do want to go sprint car racing and get a 410, I'd suggest getting a 305. Just it's tone down and you get the feel for racing a sprint car, I feel like better.
Yeah, and like the last couple of years, I know Mike Speaker has been big with like the Red River Sprint Series and traveling all sorts of different tracks. So you still get to travel quite a bit, which I'm sure is really, really big for you racing the sprint car.
Yeah, I travel quite a bit. It's kind of nice that Mike did got the class up and going and getting the sprint series. It's great for around here, and yeah, it was the awesome thing he did. And really, I feel like that attract a lot of cars.
Yeah, it seems like I see whether it's on a weekly basis or like when the schedules come out, like there's some really good promotion from I believe it's Diane over at Petro. They do a lot of promotion for get like travelers to come in, and so there's always a really good diverse field that seems like comes on like a weekly basis or just traveling around the area.
Yeah, it is. I feel like yeah, they also do a really good job in getting cars up here with the Schatz family and yeah, they I mean with local racing around the area, they do a really good job and really supportive of local tracks too. So I feel like they attract a lot of people too. So yeah.
Yeah, have you heard any rumors of any new faces that we might see this year in 2026?
Um, I haven't heard anything. I just kind of I don't know. I've been working a lot too, so I feel like I haven't really seen anything much for racing. So I don't know. I haven't really heard or seen anything of any new drivers. So that's from my point of view.
Well, I know racers can be kind of close, like keep things close to the vest, and so usually like once the first test and tune shows up, and it's like you look across the pit area, and it's like, oh, who the heck is that?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's when you kind of know who's gonna be new in the class or who isn't. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like a test and tune you'll kind of understand who's there. But yeah.
Well, and I have your shirt from a few years ago somewhere, so you had a legend on there, and I believe you also had a truck on there at one point. So did you
I
do a little
did.
bit of truck racing at some point?
Yeah, that was in 2024, I believe. The spring of 2024, I was racing the Midwest Truck Series in Wisconsin and I loved it. I loved doing it, but it's just me and my dad, so they kind of down there they speed things up a lot and it's quick. I mean, by the time you're done with hot laps, you're going back out for a heat race and you didn't even get time to set it up. So it just got to be a lot for me and my dad and so we didn't really follow up with it. I feel like the sprint car was kind of easier for just a two-man group versus like, oh, you'd almost need like a whole team to go down there and race with you with the truck. So yeah.
Yeah, and that makes me think of another question. So, like, you bring up like kind of a quick transition from like hot laps into like racing. So, from a sprint car perspective, I'm always curious because I have people ask me and I never have a good answer for it. What's the purpose of like an engine heat before you even go out for hot laps? Is that just to kind of get things going? Is it a little bit easier on the sprint cars when they do that?
Yeah, warms up the motor basically is all it does and gets fuel thrown through it or fuel going through it and it gets it's kind of a test thing just to make sure everything's working and stuff like that. I honestly I don't really know. My dad works on the car. I'm sure he'd know a lot more, but I just get in it and race it. That's all I do. And he does everything between my dad and Rosie's Raceland and Jody Rosenboom. So between them two, they do everything on the car. I'm just there to drive it. So,
Sometimes it's easier to just have a distinct duty, and if it's driving the car, perfect.
yep, the last time I worked on my car, I tightened the lugs too tight. That was the opener in Red River Valley with the Legend in 2024. So I tightened the lugs or the lug nuts too light or too tight, and the wheel flew off. And I don't think my dad let me touch the car since. So yeah, I
Wow.
didn't, yeah, I didn't think I actually tightened them that tight, but I mean, we don't torque our wheels. As I see a lot of drivers have a torque wrench and they torque them, but we just use the impact and we wait to hear it get tight and let her go. But my dad's done that for the last 10 years, so I'm sure he knew how tight and how loose they'd have to be. And so, yeah.
That's it. I can understand, like, you have those instances where it's like, okay, we learned our lesson the first time. We're not going to put ourselves in that situation again.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, yeah,
Interesting.
that race, I actually blew a wheel off and I had to start last and I won. So, it turned around good for me, but still there was a little bit of stuff that was messed up.
Yeah, like I said, it all gets washed away once you end up in victory lane, and then afterwards it's like, okay, you remember what you did to start this whole ordeal? Let's not do that again.
Exactly. That's exactly how it went. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you mentioned going back to racing at Huset's last year. So that's a big, kind of like big jump because that's like a central hub for a lot of the sprint cars that come from whether it's right there in South Dakota, up here, or in Knoxville in particular. So what's the competition like there on a weekly basis?
It's really tough. I think they get like 30 some cars a week, so it's really tough. I mean, you have to have the right setups. Thanks to Jody Rosenboom, he hauls my car there and does everything on it. So, if it wasn't for Jody, I don't think my success would have ever came down there. The first time I went down there, I was made the A. I spun out and just we got a DNF and it was rough, but yeah, thanks to them, they'd convince me and get me going and get me in the right direction. So if it wasn't for them, I don't think any of my success in the sprint car wouldn't be here. So yeah.
I love Huset's. It's tough being on a Sunday, of course. You get going into the work week right afterwards, and it's a long drive home. But man, it seems like they're like that track is always action packed. Is it usually like pretty hammered down, or is it dry slick, or kind of a mixture of both?
Last year, when I raced there weekly last year, and there was some nights where it got rubber down, or some nights it got slick, some nights it was tacty. I mean, you never knew what you were gonna get at Hughes. It's top notch of the stuff, and they throw at you whatever you know. So whatever the track's gonna do, it's gonna do. I mean, for hot laps, it's always greasy, it's always slimy. So whatever the setup is, it doesn't really work in the heat or hot laps. So you just gotta they know all the setups down there, so they kind of translate it to like what it's going to do in the heat and the feature, the B main if you're in that. So uh, the hot laps, I don't know, they're just hot laps down there. Like around here, you already know what you're going to do, but down there you never know. Not Houston.
Well, I suppose kind of there's probably like a little bit more of a fun aspect to it because it's like okay, like well, this is the way it was last week, and then you get thrown a whole different curveball, so then it kind of makes you kind of expand that notebook just a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. And see, down there, it's weird because it's like a different dirt. Like it looks like it's gonna be tacky, but then it's slick when you get out there. So it's like, what the heck is that? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see racers kind of be on their toes for the different track conditions, and yeah, I would love to get down to Houston a couple more times this year, especially when you're racing down there, because it's nice to go to like a premier facility like that and know a couple people, so that way you can kind of keep in touch with them.
Yeah, there's a lot of people around here that go down there, especially in the 410 class. I mean, we race with them every night in Houston, so there's a lot of 410 guys that go down there from here, and there's quite a few 305 guys, not as many. I think Jason Berg and Evan went down a couple times last year, and so yeah, there's quite a few people that go down there from up here, but not many.
Well, and I'm curious. So, being in a 305, is there an interest to potentially go into a 410 at some point, or are you kind of content where you're at?
Uh, I don't know. I feel like I need more seat time in the 305. I might race it for another couple of years. I would like to find a new sponsor that would help pay for one, but I don't know. They're a little expensive, and I feel like it's not really a two-man group. It's more of like a four-man group. So I don't know. It depends if someone picks me up or not, or if we just get a 410 and throw one in.
That makes sense. I've heard that it's having a 410 operation. You need a good team of people, not just sponsors, but just people, because it's. I'm sure things kind of go like 2 or 3 times as fast on a race night.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice with the extra help and stuff like that too, to get the car ready and get it set up and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. There's quite a few people out there too that have two-man groups that are racing 410s, but I just feel like that's a little bit tougher.
Yeah, definitely. The more people you have, especially when it comes to like working on the car, maintenance. I'm sure maintenance is a big part of it too. People don't see how much maintenance goes into just a race car in general, let alone a full blown 410 sprint car.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot to them. You have to do quite a few things to the 410s, and Uh, kind of go through the motor a couple times every other race or every race. It don't matter, but there's a lot of things that you have to do for them. So yeah.
Well, awesome. And before I let you go, I want to give you a chance to shout out your entire crew, including your sponsors and people that work on the race car.
First and foremost, my mom and dad. I wouldn't be here without them. They put all the money and stuff into the racing for me, and they've been with me through it all. And my grandma, she comes to every racetrack. A lot of you know her, a lot of you don't, but she's came to every race I think since I was 6 years old. So thanks to her and my mom, my dad, the Trailix Disposal, and half of the sponsors on my car, us. So it's basically my mom and dad, the Trailix Disposal, Anderson Septic, uh, Wilke Speedy Wash, Chad Speaker, Grayson, Ashton, they put in a little bit of help here and there. They show up, so thanks to them. And Jody Rosenboom, Rosie's Raceland. I can't thank them enough. They work on the car, they got all the parts and stuff for it. And they do everything on the car. So, yeah. So if it wasn't for all those guys, I probably wouldn't be in this position where I'm at now.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a good team behind you, and unless you change the look on the hauler, you still got a pretty good hauler that you should be able to see the 72 going down the highway.
Yep, that's true.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you taking some time to get to know you and to chat with you before the race season starts. I guess a couple last questions. When are you setting to start your season up here officially?
I think the first race I'll be at Huset's. It'll be a Sunday. I think within the next couple weeks. So it's starting pretty fast. We don't even have the car stickered yet, so we're kind of we're on a time point here. So we got to get things going, and I think the cars go down this Monday morning. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, and then the last question I have for you is where can people follow you, or do you have a page or at all that you keep updated for racing?
Wilkie Racing on Instagram and Facebook. Otherwise, my main, I repost everything on my main underscore Tye Wilke underscore on Instagram and just Tye Wilke on Facebook. That's about all it is.
Alrighty. Well, I'll have all those listed in the show notes and the post. And again, thank you, Tye, for your time. Looking forward to seeing you at the track here in just a few weeks around this area and maybe down at Houston's a couple times this year as well.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep, take care, and we'll see the rest of you race fans at another interview in just a little while.